Hello, it's the art teacher with you again, and I've got one I think you're going to like today. This is a bit more on the crafty side, but it can be worked into a lesson to do with writing or poetry, and it's making a small book, so bookmaking. Now, here I have a book which has a cover, and it's a simple 1-2 pages, and then the end pages. So there's a lot I have to say about bookmaking. I think I'm going to make this a 2 or 3 part lesson, but we're going to do just a simple book for the first part, which is a cover and then 2 pages. And again, if you want to work this into an illustration project or a poetry project or something to do with writing some kind of narrative or something like that, there's little cross-curricular potential in that. So, number 1, we're going to need paper, scissors. You could do it without the scissors, but they'll help. A glue stick. You could probably do it without that, but I would suggest you have it. Some tape, Scotch tape or masking tape, either one. And a piece of construction paper or some kind of paper for the cover. So, those are the supplies that we're going to be using today. And we're going to take a paper like this, and just by cutting it and folding a bit, we're going to turn it into a little book like this. Then I'm going to talk about a little technique for putting the cover on. So we're going to go ahead and get started right now on that. Stick it out through this one. By the way, do subscribe if you like these lessons. And leave a little comment down below there if you have a question or anything like that. I noticed a couple comments are popping up. Now, first thing is simply get your paper, fold it what I hear called Hamburg style or this way. So you're going to fold it short ways and try to always get the corners to match up and get it nice and flush. Crease it a bit, fold it again. So that's a second fold. Again, get your corners to match up. Okay. So that's 2 folds, and now your 3rd fold. So here we go. Match up your corners. Get the crease nice and neat, and crease that. Okay. So what I end up with are 8 rectangles. I have 8 rectangles here, and we're going to turn this into this. So next step. So step number 1 is fold it 3 times in half and achieve 8 rectangles like that. Step 2 is we're going to make the cut. So you have to fold it down the middle like this, then fold it again so it's your creases like that. Now, from the inside of the crease here, I think they call that the valley, V-A-L-L-E-Y, in bookmaking. That's the term I've used, but I'm not going to get too involved in bookmaking terminology on this lesson. Maybe in further lessons I could do that. Anyway, what you're going to do is cut from the valley, from the inside in halfway. So take those scissors and make that cut. Do a good job on that. There it goes. And there it is. So that's what you end up with. If it looks like that, you are doing it right. Close it down like this, and you'll end up with something that looks like that. Fold it in. See, so I'm taking it like that, folding it in, increasing it, and then just folding that part over, and I end up with this basic structure, which is the basic structure of that book. 1, 2, 3, and then the back 4, and then you can kind of crease everything down nicely with that. So again, quick review on that. Number 1, fold it into 8, fold it 3 times to achieve 8 separate rectangles. Then fold it over this way and cut it halfway in. After you've cut it halfway in, open it back up again, fold it long ways like that, so that you have that opening like this. Push that together and fold it down into a simple book type structure. Now the problem I found is, of course, you have these openings on the end of 2 of the pages. My solution is a little bit of tape on the end. When I tape these, here's how I do it. I take this page, set it down flat, get a piece of tape, try to visually measure it so that the tape is nice and even, and just even taping it onto the table. Then lift it up like that, fold it back over, tape it again the other way, and then trim that tape off. Boom, boom. So I have a nice even line here and an even line there. It gives it a better look if you're careful to make it even. And the way to make it even again is set it flat here on the table, put it down, even push it against the table, and then you can judge the evenness of it. Next, do the same thing on this side. So you should have another piece of tape right here, and get it nice and even. Push it down, then lift it up. The paper should come with it. Turn it over. And again, taking my scissors, boom, and boom. There we go. Nice and even. And I can just close it down. Once it's creased, it naturally goes right back into that book form. So that's a book right there. You could use this as the book and call that a finished product. But in the interest of making it look better, since this is visual arts, we want a visual appeal, I want to go into a cover and how to put that cover on. So I'm going to take a piece of construction paper, take my book, okay, open it up like that and set it on the piece of construction paper. And I'm not going to measure, but I'm going to visually try to set it at about a ½ an inch. That would be about a little more than a centimeter. Let me come on up there and you can see. You're going to want a margin right here from the edge of the book to here of about that distance, which I would call ½ an inch. Now if I have that ½ an inch, here I'll grab a little crayon to make my mark. Now once I have that ½ inch, I'm going to try to judge off the corner here what is a ½ inch and just make a little dot. Again, these aren't precise measurements and I don't need a precise measurement. Then I make a little dot up there, and what that does is that's giving me about a ½ inch margin all the way around. Simply from there, you see where the dot is, fold the paper from where the dot is and make sure that the edges are flush. I'm not going to include, I'm going to use the outside edge of the dot there. So I'm making sure the outside edge is flush. 2 outside edges here are flush along the top, and the dot is on the short side here, so that this is going to be, that's going to be where the cover is. So I can simply crease it several times, fold it back over, place it this way, and in this case, I get a little deckled edge and cut it across. Then I'm going to make a slight mark where that dot was. So I have a little blue mark here, and make sure that's on the outside so it's not part of the cover. Make sure my edges are flush across the top. So you can measure if you'd like to. In this case, I think an eyeball measurement would be just as good. And you can judge how much overlap you wanted on that. So here I have my book and I have my cover cut to size. And as you can see, there is a little margin all the way around like that. Now I'm going to get my glue stick, boom, right there, and put some glue on this outer 2 parts of my book. This isn't archival. You know, archival means it'll last for centuries and so forth. That's not the type of project this is. This is a children's project. And anyway, I'm going to look and center this with the glue on it. Okay, and rub it down so that it's, maybe use my fingernail, rub it down pretty good so that it stays. And there it is, it's staying pretty good. And I can now fold it and crease it. And it's starting to look like a cover, see? Now, this is the part where you might want to really focus in, because what I'm going to do is take these corners and fold all 4 of those corners in. So let's go ahead and look at that. Folding the corners in like that. And I'm going to do that on all 4 of them. So here's my next one. Now I'm folding them in from the inner corner of the end page of the book right there. So that's going to be my point. That's going to be my reference point. And you can mostly just see by looking what I'm talking about. Okay, because maybe putting that one in words is, it's going to be more effective just to look and see how I did it. So that's what it should look like, something like that, where all of those are folded in. Now that I have them all creased in like that, I can even take a little bit of the glue stick and go on each one of those corners and actually glue them down. So that just takes about 15 seconds here. So get all 4 of those glued down. There. Now all 4 of those have been glued down, and next, this is one, don't forget to do that. You can cut a little triangle out of the top here and out of the bottom, and that's going to help fold these parts of the cover down onto the end pages. So go ahead and get my tape off my scissors and do some cutting. So we're going to cut that little triangle. Let me look close so I do a good job. So I'm going to come up there so you can take a close look at that. 1, 2. Cut a little triangle out there, and 1. And I found the triangle works better than just a slit because it gives it a little bit of room for error when you fold that over. So I have the triangles cut out at the top and bottom. Now comes I'm just going to crease it down before I glue anything. I'm going to crease everything down so that it all fits in pretty nice and looks good. And, you know, being careful with each step is what's really going to help this project work for you. Make this work for you. So, one more. And here's that last one. So what I've done is taken all of those and creased them over. Okay, so that was 6 little, total of 6 folds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 folds. Folded them in, and already you can see it's starting to have the look of a book. So, by the way, you know, be careful. You might not want to overdo the glue stick when you initially attach the book to the cover. Otherwise, you get a little wrinkle on there. So, let's go through and glue all these down. And again, you don't need to overdo the glue stick, but on the cover, be sure you do have adequate glue, because it's a smaller area that you're gluing. A little bit of glue can be on the book and on the over flap of the cover. So I'm going to go around and do that on all 6 of those. Boom! There's that one. I have that one completed now. See, those corners end up looking okay. There's another technique with the corner where you can cut the corners, but I prefer to fold them in. Either one is a legitimate way. Then, if you wanted to, you could paste a piece of paper over these folds, and that would be like an end page, and that would cover up the folds. I think the folds I like the look of the folds. That's your choice, though. That's your choice, and if you want to take it to that next level, you can. By the way, I have more to say on books. I have books that I want to do a book that has many more pages, but still made out of a single piece of paper. So that's going to be another video I do on part 2 or 3 of this bookmaking series. And also I want to do books with little pockets in them, which would be neat for making Christmas cards. Anyway, what I have here is, as you see here, there are two of them, one's brown and one's pink. It is a little book that you can incorporate into any sort of literacy lesson, any sort of writing lesson, especially something with poetry, writing a poem and illustrating it possibly, or you could even use this as a card. Again, stay tuned for a couple other bookmaking projects. They're going to be interesting. I have 2 more to go. And leave your comments, and please do subscribe, especially if you want to catch those other bookmaking projects, because the email goes out and let you know that I put out a new video. Okay, you take care. It's been real nice sharing this with you, and I really hope you're enjoying these videos. Have a good one.